The lighting in my room is, as always, only the screens. I look so pale. When I see actual YouTubers and people actually have some like fancy as LED lighting, then I see this thing that's on in the corner. Anyway, Donna, let me know if you're here. But basically, my idea. But yeah, I'll actually wait for Donna a bit. I'll listen to this video. Be right back screen. Huh. How does that work? Be right back. Maybe. Do I get to restart the screen with the be right back thing? Now I'm adding the trying to add a scene. I probably get a bunch of these scenes with some like packs or something. Maybe on Stream Elements. I'll look into that later. But yeah, cool that you're here. I mean, what I like about stopping the stream and then restarting it is that there's a new notification, there's a new name for the video. I'm really lazy, so I don't like separately upload anything. So I keep my like VODs or whatever in YouTube, and then I can like quickly get it there with the right name. No need to hassle or like, I don't know, do anything later. And I can like find the stuff that I worked on previously or what I did, or like whenever I want to like see what was happening. The VODs are mostly there for my own analysis, I guess. Anyway, you don't stop the stream, switch the stream, be right back in OBS, which mutes you and displays a message. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, as I explained, I think there are perks to stopping the stream. Unless it's whatever makes sense for you, yeah. Anyway, what I was looking into, again, we discussed this last time, I think, was Ink and Unity and stuff, and making these two things work together. So there is a add-on that we implemented in Unity, or like we just like clicked the button and downloaded it to Unity, so it kind of works, but I was still confused about getting conditionals to work. I mean, like conditionally showing different text, different content, writing content. So this video kind of goes over that, but in a way, like I quickly listened to it, quickly listened to it on like 2 times speed, and I couldn't really, like this was a couple of days ago, couldn't really grasp, like there are variables and we could like do something with those, but I'll need to think this through.
Depending on the choice that we choose in the game. And that pretty much does it for choices, but there is one issue that pops up in some odd cases.
Maybe I should listen to it from the beginning. Okay, so where is the example it gives? It builds this whole dialogue system on Unity side that kind of interfaces, or what's the term, like communicates with the Ink files in a specific way. So you could see here in the Ink file there's conditionals in Inky had a similar syntax to ternary expressions in JS. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there are conditionals, but that's the syntax thing. But my idea is that like in the Unity file, there's a bunch of like events. I don't know how the guy will make them, but in the previous version in Unreal we had the bunch of like event cards, and those have like different properties, like that can be passed on, like either like skill types or the skills themselves or items. So these could be like passed over as like tags or something, or parameters or whatever. What are tags in? Are tags a thing in Unity actually? Unity tag, manual tags. Unity project where ink is set up. Yeah, I do. Yeah, we did set up a ink in a Unity project. Tag is a reference word which you can assign to one or more game objects. You might define player tags for player-controlled characters and an enemy tag for non-player controlled characters. Okay, so the guy who I'm working with, one of them mentioned tags. I'm thinking like, does this have like a very specific way it shows in Unity? Respawn null. Okay, must be defined with tag respawn. Okay, you can have a conditional in Unity based on the tag. But now, I guess the issue is to get the tag from Unity to pass it on to Inky. Or do I actually need to pass it on? Okay, let's think. So if I have separate dialogue choices available based on whether there's a tag or not, if I have a separate dialogue choice available based on, like, let's say I have an item or not, or let's say the skill or whatever has a tag. The thing is, yeah, if I show the Inky dialogue choice tree or whatever, then some of them would be obscured or not shown if there's like no such tag, I guess, and only showed conditionally in case the tag is present in the game logic. So let's say that I have like the item, like a human tongue item, whatever, and then I can have like separate dialogue node opened for me. So it could be just like that. On Unity side, we ask for. It depends on how the Inky is implemented. Like if it's just like separate files in Inky, then it's kind of easy. Then you just like make the check on Unity side and then just fetch the file in case there's the conditional or the condition present. But yeah, like I'm thinking architecturally. If we already have Inky in it and implementing the dialogue logic, then we probably want to make use of the choices and stuff. So let's say that the current event has the item A present, and we can show one of the choices, one of the dialogue options in Inky only if that tag is present on Unity side. Like the Unity needs to like pass on the parameter or tag or whatever to Inky, and Inky makes the check on conditionals. Videlays Unity Ink Part 4 tags and rich text. Parsing tags, one of the properties not previously discussed so far is current tags. It's also part of the story API, and like current choices is populated by a call to the continue function. The current tags property holds list string. If there are no tags, it will be empty. Okay, weird. Rich text. Tags and rich text working across the series. Imported, tested. Simple button paste interface. There's one more tool Ink has that can be used in Unity tags. Extra code that is ignored. They start with hash character, and yeah, but then the logic needs to be built on the Inky side. So if like tags in Inky are something that's ignored on Inky's end, and they're just passed on to Unity or whatever by the like story or whatever. Then I cannot really. Yeah, it's a good thing, but like the problem I have right now, I need to maybe take up Paint. Let's maybe display capture. That's easier. Okay. So current problem. What I want to do probably, I'm still not sure, but what I want to do probably is here in Unity, we have like skills, items. These have like functionality in context of events, like in-game events, not the like type of ordeal. Let's say game event. So these carry some sort of conditionals towards dialogue. So let's say that the game event takes dialogue from Ink. And there's a bunch of dialogue here written out. There's now I use the actual text, right? 72. Why did I use 72 here? Maybe I wanted like a cool screen cap. Option A, B, C. I like how these lines work with the clear letters. D, E. So, I guess what I want to do is have a conditional come in from like, let's say there's an item X. Now even these lines are smaller for some reason. Anyway, this item X serve as a conditional for showing dialog option E. Okay, so only if item X is present in the state, however, the state is, we don't have anything right now. Whenever item X is present, you show E. Otherwise, you don't really show it. So only if this arrow works here, this becomes apparent. Something like that. Even like not only choices, but like whole dialogue trees would work based on these conditions. So like whatever the tag or the parameter is, that is X, it needs to go from Unity to Ink. and then ink needs to be like, oh yeah, now we show E or something. There was an example with Dan as tag. Check the text before that example. Hang on, let's see. What, have you never seen a dialogue system before? Hashtag Dan. Okay, old message. Gotcha. Understood. So, okay. So passing on X to ink in order to see whether we show conditionally show stuff or not. Ideally, we would have some of this built already for me to understand it, but I don't think I need to at this moment. I need to see whether I can make this like to work in ink. Probably we can, but I can also turn to the Discord. I got some help from my Discord recently. Well, not recently, it was months ago, but about another ink issue I had. So they might be able to help me like faster, I guess. But also this video had some hints towards that. There's like functions, external functions that ink uses. And defines like variables based on them, kind of. Okay, nice, you found something. How to set or change ink variables using C#. One-way communication from ink variables to be read by Unity through tags or external functions. Yeah, exactly. But is the way to alter saved global JSON variables through C# codes and functions. So ink files can listen to new variable states. If you just want to update ink variables from C# code, you should be able to do it like this. String, variable name, my variable name, object, variable name, text value, story, variable state, variable name, variable value. Okay. Doesn't change the variables in globals ink. What I tried with your suggestions. With your suggestion in dialog variables CS variable object global variable story, variable state, variable name, variable object. Dialog manager CS to 5. Dialog variable set variable games played to 5. So I guess that's a variable they have in ink as well. Yeah. Anyway, which is called by the button that tests if I can change the variable to 5. Oh, okay. I'm monitoring variables by integer play times, ink runtime, int value, get variable state, games played dot value. Ink runtime, int value. What the hell is that? Debug log, dictionary played times. Oh yeah, that's just like seeing the debug. Okay. Where dialog variables, new dialog variables, story, ink story, new story, load global JSON text. In the testing ink file I had global stays at the initial value, which is 1. Here is the get variable state function. Seems to work for me. Okay. Okay, this is good. I'll work through this, and I think this kind of solves the issue. I'll present that to the programmer guy. Like in this project, I'm actually not a programmer at all. So my task, or like what I wanted to look into, was like, is this useful? Like, is ink useful, and can I start writing stuff with that, so that we can use the logic of like how a game is supposed to work. I think this kind of solves it. I need to work it through like line by line and test stuff out though. I'll not do that immediately. I'll play Final Fantasy instead. And also send this link to the co-programmer. Let them solve the issue, right? Okay, Final Fantasy time in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. I'll talk with people before that. See you around.